Okay, so hi, I'm Linda Hutchinson, and you are at the News Access and Literacy Task Force meeting. So I see a lot of people, maybe I don't know. So let's go around and introduce each other briefly. Tell which local league you're from, if you have a local league. So I'm Linda Hutchinson. Larimer County is my local league. Diana.
Obviously Larimer County is a local league and I live in Loveland, but grew up and down between Durango and Cortez.
And Sandy.
Sandy Schuster, Jefferson County.
Okay.
Kay Shaw, I work with the Cheeseman Group in Denver.
Marion.
Marion, unmute.
Muted.
Sorry about that. Marion Lilly with Larimer.
Yeah, and Marion has graciously volunteered to take notes for me because I'm really bad.
Well, we don't know yet if I am really good at it. I'm going to do my best.
I think you'll be good. Okay, Kathy.
Kathy Wilson. I live in Loveland, Larimer County.
Jane.
Jane Hamburger with Larimer County.
Amy.
Amy Phillips with Larimer County.
Andrew.
Andrew Zeiler, I'm in La Plata County.
Yay.
Yay!
Oh, welcome. Tony.
Tony Larson, Denver. The same group that Kay Shaw is with.
Jeannie.
Yeah, Jeannie Draper from Loveland up in Larimer County.
Wonderful.
Welcome. I don't think
Thank
I've seen you. Linda.
Me?
You Linda.
I got in late, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm Linda Burrows at Larimer County.
Do you live in Loveland or Timnath?
I live in Timnath.
Okay, that's it. Bonnie.
Bonnie Insco. I live in Fort Collins.
And Danny.
I live in Durango, La Plata County.
Ooh, another one.
Excellent.
Good. Great. So we have people from all over the state. That's great. Okay, so our first item today is, where's Diana? Okay, Diana did
I was turning off the light. I'm trying to get my light right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Diana, last time we ran out of time, really. We didn't get to devote much time to your report on Project 2025. And
well, and forgive me that I thought people would read it.
well, we tried. Okay. So go ahead, Diana. You've got 15 minutes, I think.
Okay, so can you share or because I've got it down here, but I don't know if you can see it. Can you? If I pull it up?
I think you can share it.
You should be able to.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
No, because I don't have it handy. Do you have it?
I have it pulled up, but I don't know how to do that.
Go down
Maybe I'll
go down to the bottom where it says share along the
green square.
Yeah. See the arrow down that says share?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Click on that.
Okay, and then I can pull it back up.
Do you don't have to do anything? Do you see the report?
No, to get to it, let me get the view back.
Yeah, you have to open it. You have to have it open.
Yeah, I have it open, but it's along the bottom here. Let's see. Okay, and then see, I can't get to the bottom. Yeah, I haven't ever tried to do that. I'm going to go back to the view and make it smaller. Exit full screen. And I have it open. If I push on that, will it do it?
Yes.
Yes.
But-
Okay, there it is.
Okay, so, but you need to, when you.
There it
hit
is.
It's
those-
there. Yep.
There.
There you go.
Can you see it? Okay.
Yep.
Double
It's
click
happening.
to enter full screen.
Okay,
There you
and
go. Yay.
There you go.
well, I can see part of it.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
the top.
just have to scroll
Oh,
down.
and I don't need that on the side either,
Yeah.
because I need to be able to do this part. When I got this project, I asked the wrong question and I got it. I think Kathy Marr volunteered me to do that, which was fine. But first thing I needed to know was more about the project. And so that's what's at the end. I'm trying to find it here. Okay, I know where I am now. One of the tricky things about oh, there it is, the Heritage Foundation. So I said, okay, what are they? I'd heard of them, but I needed more information. So I got what people said about them, what Fact Check said, and talking about their policy agenda for the next conservative president. And then what the ACLU said about them, that when it was started, and some of the writers involved, you'll recognize some of those people like Pam Bondi and Stephen Miller. Tom Homan, you know, he's the go after the migrants person. Anyway, and then I looked kind of behind it. Here's a list of the people who are actually kind of partners in it. It gives me an idea of what they're thinking when, you know, when they did this, like Center for Immigration Studies. I think that might be Stephen Miller's group. Moms for Liberty, the Susan B. Anthony pro-life, anti-abortion people, Tea Party Patriots, Turning Point, USA, and an American First Legal Foundation. So you see kind of the direction, you know, with all of these partners, and they were going. So obviously they're fighting so Americans can thrive, and they just feel like they're not doing it. So if you look at what
Are they still in Colorado Springs?
I would guess, I don't know that.
What was your question? What are they? What?
Are they
In
still in
Colorado
Colorado
Springs.
Springs?
No, they're all over the country because they're different groups that are doing, you know, different parts of it. And so it kind of depends, like the Mothers for Liberty are in the county I live in Florida. That's where their home base is, but
Sure.
but they do other things, you know. So yeah, there probably is some part of them in Colorado Springs.
That's where it
Well,
was
see,
started.
it started in 1973. You might heard the Heritage Foundation is, and this is kind of all, you know, just all of the planning they've done. And the president is Kevin Roberts, who's on the, he was on the Trump transition team in 2016. So they've associated themselves with institutionalizing Trumpism. If you notice, I tried to highlight some of the main points. Now I'm going back to the beginning on what, first of all, I went to a couple of other sources that I thought would be good to give me a kind of a background. Yeah, I could probably do faster. I'm not as good as I used to be on. Okay. I went to the Brennan Center for Justice. I figured I'd get some lawyers and what they were talking about too. And this is what they say. It says the project recommends incapacitating federal agencies that have helped secure our elections. And that's really important. You notice just recently, supposedly Trump's going to try to outlaw mail-in ballots, and that's the latest part of that. Going after the process as well as the people who might vote. And it's called weaponize. It claims, again, this is all by the Brennan Center for Justice, that it calls for weaponizing other parts of the government against officials and private parties who've worked to ensure that elections remain free and fair. Now, I've worked with elections a long time ago, and my husband is doing that now, and he's a disaffected Republican now. But he talks about, he goes out and evangelizes, talks about how secure our own Colorado elections are. So he's involved as well. We have personal experience with it. And then this other is a brief that the Brennan Center for Justice had by two of these, put together by these two lawyers on the elections part of it. Okay. That's what they are. This is kind of what they do when they have a particular subject they're talking about, how it advocates, and you'll see a lot of this happening for targeting tech companies, government officials, academic researchers, and civil society with retaliation for trying to address election misinformation. You know, Linda just sent out that thing today about, it's NBC, isn't it? Who's their parent company is being bought by the other people. The other big corporation is Nexstar is involved.
Yeah,
they're trying to buy that was just what Linda sent out today. And what they have to do is that approval, that purchase by Nexstar, purchasing this Tecna, I guess is what you say it, which I assume it must be CBS, has to be approved by the FCC chairman who is a Trumper. And if they don't get that, if they don't do, this is how they weaponize that. Other parts of the government, they'll threaten this, just like they did, it was Paramount trying to sell CBS, I think it was the latest one. But that's one of the things it's mentioned in the project, how they go about doing these and controlling these people by weaponizing, say, the FCC or the Pam Bondi's department, so they can get what they want and get the right people in the right places. And then to punish social media for carrying any information that's doesn't line up with their election ideas and their platforms. So, you know, they planned this all ahead of time. It isn't happening by accident. Questions? Any comments to that point?
I have a comment, Diana. Today,
Hey.
I get the Brennan Center's newsletter that comes about every day, just about. And,
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and today's was about Trump's announcement that he wants to, get rid of mail-in voting and that, and that's the whole front end of the newsletter. And I really like their newsletters, and I definitely like the presentations that the Brennan Center does. They're really high quality people. So,
well, I think they have a good reputation.
Yeah,
a very
but
good
anybody
reputation.
any of you can register to get the newsletter from them. It's free. So
It doesn't have those. And see that the one of the things under this, they say we've seen a lot of this Justice Department, they're trying to intimidate Colorado about what was the latest thing? Well, anyway, proving that our elections are secure and all that sort of thing. And we're confident, but just the fact that they intimidate and they really we end up having to file lawsuits and that sort of thing on it. Okay, down to the general information about if you go into the Project 2025, you have to be careful because when I got it off the website, I don't remember what website it was. Their pages, the numbers on the pages don't correspond to what you see as far as looking for that. So that's why I say actually the numbered pages 235 through 251, because it might come up when you're looking at it yourself as different pages. But at the bottom of the page is what you have to go if you want to look at something specifically. And this part is talking about, oh yeah, the United States agency going after the Voice of America, and apparently there's several others, but I highlight them. Going after Voice of America, you've seen it, why they don't like them, because they feel like they're carrying political information. Down here, violations of their prohibition against broadcasting to domestic audiences, and carrying that political information. Then they claimed that all Republican presidents have recognized that public funding of domestic broadcasts is a mistake. I thought this was interesting. Maybe someone can jump into this part about, did I move it too far? Oh, right. This is their quote out of their information. That is the development of government-funded broadcast systems similar to the BBC. Apparently, the BBC is not it's supposed to be something. Maybe it covers, I don't know, too leftist, I don't know. But they maintain that it's just become a liberal forum, and you can see what they've done, gone after here. I thought it was interesting on NBC, Kyle Clark had a funding offer last week, I think it was, for a couple of NPR stations. One in Ignacio, which we used to listen to before the Cortez got one, that the Utes have. Well, and people down at Durango know this. And then also over in the San Luis Valley. And Kyle Clark was actually including them in their funding program, and people could sign up with the QR code and help to fund them. But anyway, they consider it a liberal, and there's something they pull up stats from 10 years ago and claim that proves that all of those people are liberal, anybody who listens to NPR. And this is interesting. They shouldn't, this is a core belief they have, that the government should not be compelling the conservative half of the country to pay for the suppression of its own views. So they don't want to be paying for something they don't believe that's possible, fair. And I didn't know it was doing that, but anyway. Also, this firewall has to do with the, just before this Trump guy was, who was it? His name was Michael Pack, was selected to be the CEO for US AGM back in Trump's first term. That's why I highlighted number 45. They made it sure that he couldn't exercise editorial authority over what the Colorado, or the broadcasting people can use, the NPR and such. And that was the firewall to ensure the journalistic independence. They could present that information. And they, of course, didn't like that because they want those people in there so they can control what's going on. Here, the Voice of America White House correspondent was posting content highly critical and personally insulting to the US president. And so part of this started in the first administration, this idea of Voice of America and all of these other people being against, they want the information presented in an accurate, reliable way. Yes, I heard somebody. Anyone want to jump?
I don't think it was anything.
You didn't see anybody? Okay. Now, this is another interesting point. See, the mainstream media, anti-US chorus and denigrating America's story. Just like the going into the Smithsonian now, and they want the story to be all like you remember the old news reports on at the movie theaters, and they were always gung ho US. It sounds like that's what they want to go back to, is something that's very gung ho, and they claim that PBS and NPR aren't even bothering to run programming that would attract conservatives, which I think is an interesting point.
Well,
here
then that says something about their views on democracy, and it says something on being conservative.
Well, down here, notice these stats are back from 2014, which, just about anybody say, well, what's happening now? I think of everything as COVID and pre-COVID and after. But anyway, they just don't feel like PBS and NPR even tried to do that sort of thing.
Diana, I think this is Kay. I think one of the things, I've done quite a bit of research on this last summer from a different point of view rather than the media point of view. But I think the main thing to emphasize is really this all started during Ronald Reagan's term. Much of this really came into being. They were not able to do as much as they had hoped to because they got stopped by Congress. But what they were able to do, they started the underground part of electing public officials, which we now know are up in the system through legislators and through judicial offices, as well as what they've done in local communities through like public schools and so forth. So that's how it really began to flourish. And then when Trump was in there, they really wanted him to do more than he did, but he couldn't stick to one thing. So then that's why they really put the document in place, because then they felt like if they had all these people writing it, then he would know who to tap, who to become the head of each of the departments that he wanted to get rid of somebody. And so almost everybody who holds an office has been involved some way in writing this. And so it's just one more way. I did put on the website, on the chat, just a little, and you can put it in the minutes, an explanation that's done by the Yale Harvard law students, a YouTube, and it's a very good explanation of the whole process if you're just looking at the whole thing and its history. Thanks for what you did on the media part of it, because I think this is really on for what we need to know. I think the main thing too that we would add to, the only thing I'd add to the media thing that you've looked at is that the need really to get rid of anybody that says anything, and it really isn't even, if it's good, it's almost like it has to be just so controlled. That we have words we want to say, we have things we want to do. And it's not, if you're not on those words, then you're not really for us, is kind of what it is, So all of those are obviously not saying exactly the way they want it said.
Did you notice there, unlike other agencies, I thought this was interesting too, where Colorado, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting received, I should say, advance appropriations. That was their feeling, that they couldn't control them because they were getting these appropriations ahead of time, funding for 2 years ahead of time, which would insulate the agency from Congress's power of the person oversight. But I agree that they've gone after other things. It's a very deeply thought out, I think, and it has come out over years. It's just now they got somebody in there who I'm pretty sure he didn't read all 900 words of this document. Somebody, maybe Stephen Miller or somebody else, Pam Bondi, those people who have around him can guide him that way.
Well, I think it goes back to the idea that that's why you select the people that wrote it, then they know what they want. Because even within the document itself, at different times, it does contradict itself in the document because no one has gone through and looked at it in relationship to each other. So there's a couple places and they're kind of a little bit opposed to each other, but it's because they were all written as separate documents.
Okay. You guys, we gotta keep.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, I won't say.
A couple more minutes.
Will we be able to have a copy of this?
Did
Didn't
you
you
send
send
it to-
out? Yeah, Linda sent out one just after our last meeting, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, I got it.
Oh.
Okay, good. Well, I'm like you, Linda. I didn't look at it, I guess. I thought I had it. But
I can send it again. Diana, can you send it to me again so I can send
sure.
it? Or
Yeah,
send it?
I'll make a note to send it again.
Okay, that'd be good.
So much.
Maybe right after the meeting.
Yeah,
But it's only a beginning, but everything I was reading, I said, yeah, that's what they're doing. Oh, this part about, to close it up, where they don't like it that people can go to different parts of the country and find an NPR station. Like they would reserve those 20 stations, you go somewhere, you can find them like Greeley is 91.5 and that's KUNC and whatever CPR. That it's easier to find and they claim it's not commercial. I started counting the sponsor messages that KUNC keeps, they will use on theirs, and 3 sentences maximum about whoever their sponsor is, just to see if they're really getting carried away on their advertising. But those were a couple of ideas that they had also brought up in their projections. But I think you'll see that there's a definite plan and that they're following it.
right.
Well, don't think that it's over when you've read this and understood it. This latest edition of Mother Jones is about Project 2026, subtitled Trump's Plan to Hijack the Next Election. So there's another plan following this one.
Yeah.
Well, one of the ways they've done the judicial, a lot of those people who come in up to be appeals court judges and then on up to the Supreme Court clerk for somebody who's a conservative, and that way they get kind of groomed in that thinking when they come up too.
Okay.
And one more thing, Diane, I'll send, Linda, I'll send to you, is there is an organization called Red, Wine and Blue, and yes, it's more blue leaning, but they have put together a toolbox to try to deal with this, and I'll send you that information.
Okay, that's great. Make sure.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing here. Ready?
Right. Yeah. Great.
Yay, that's more than I've ever done.
Thank you, Diana. That was a great presentation. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing is the statewide discussion of stripped for parts. That's Kay. You have 10 minutes.
Okay, and just keep me to it. The main thing that I wanted to say is I've had trouble getting in touch with different people. I have contacted, I tried to contact someone at the state library. I never heard anything back from them. I tried to contact PBS, but they are so overwhelmed right now with what's happening. For those of you who weren't here last time, what we talked about, Strip for Parts, is a documentary that was put together about what is happening to the local media scene, and it's taking, the movie itself is taking what happened to the Denver Post when it was taken over by hedge funds. And it's an excellent video, an hour and 20 minutes. And what we had thought about doing was trying ourselves to do a showing of it and then following it up with some kind of panel of people who had been involved. I got the opportunity to hear the Colorado Sun hosted it in June, and it was so good that and the the director who developed it, was there at the event, and I talked to him about the possibility of how the league could use it. So I am in touch with his organization, and they really do want us to use it. The one thing we're getting into is the expense of how to do it. And what we were looking at is how can we do this? So I tried to talk to NPR, saying maybe there would be a possibility. It is going to be shown sometime in October. We don't know when. And we were thinking about maybe after it was shown, then we would do something online that would be like a question and answer or something through the Zoom process, and have some a few people speaking for and then answering questions. We've thrown around a few other ideas, but it seems like every time we think of something, we're kind of having trouble because I haven't been able to get NPR. I haven't been able to get the state of Colorado. I was able to get Denver. Denver is willing to show it for, but we don't want something that's just in Denver. And so one of the things that the person that I'm working with right now is contacting me is to see how could we get it into the interlibrary loan process. And if we could do that, because it is a DVD or a CD, a CD, I guess it is. And we were wondering how, but we needed it to be somewhere where it could be sent out to people, because we don't have the people ourselves to do it and know when people need it and so forth. So what I was going to ask, who is it with the library here?
Me.
Amy, the process of how do you get something on interlibrary loan would be very helpful if you could look into your area, because I know that we could do something here in Denver, but they're not sure. It has to come through the people that they buy something from. And this is not one of their people. They are happy for us to purchase it and go into their system. But whether they'll put it in their interlibrary loan is another question.
Yeah, so interlibrary loan isn't a universal thing. Interlibrary loan is Prospector, and then there's a smaller one for the small libraries called Swift. And the only way to do that is for somebody to purchase it. And the state library has nothing to do with interlibrary loan. They don't manage it. They don't deal with it. You have to do the software. So like Pooter could purchase it. And it sounds like our distributors aren't distributing it. If Denver says they can't get it, that means probably the main distributors we work with isn't selling it. And we don't usually go outside of those because we get catalog records that come with it. And that's a lot of work to do original cataloging and things. So that's why you're running into these stumbling blocks, is especially if, and the other thing we're running into is a lot of things aren't coming on DVD anymore. They're all streaming. So somebody said like Jeffco has Canopy. And so because of Loveland's budget cuts, we don't have Canopy or Hoopla or interlibrary loan. Okay. So I think that's where you're running into the stumbling blocks. And the state library, the librarian who was there just went to Denver Public, and they've been wrangling with possible IMLS cuts. So that's been a higher priority for them. So if you donate it, and again, you'd want to work with the libraries to do this, because again, most libraries also don't accept direct donations. And the reason for that is because, well, you have very good intentions about this. Let's go back to the 2025 Moms for Liberty could come and say, well, you accepted this donation from the League of Women Voters, so you have to accept this donation from Moms for Liberty. And it might not be something that we would ever have in our collection. So that's the other thing that you can run into, is that's why most libraries don't accept direct donations, so that we don't end up in a political tit for tat and things like that. So I think the best thing to do is to find out, again, like I said, they said Jeffco has Canopy, which is through Libby, is to highlight which libraries have it streaming.
Okay.
And that's something that you could work with. I'm going to guess anybody who has Canopy, which is the major big libraries, and probably some of the smaller ones like Estes and things, has it. But that's a good way, is to say, hey, go here and you can check it out on them and watch it that way.
And that's what I was told, but Denver doesn't have Canopy. I don't know. And, that they suggested, either, I think Douglas County has it, and let me see the other place they were suggesting that might have it. They said either Boulder, Douglas County, anything or CU might have it. And again, we had talked about, there is someone who's willing to donate it to the organization, but I hear what you're saying about that isn't necessarily a good idea either. So I'm kind of going to stop right now and let the group kind of think about, so what might we want to do as our alternative? The only kind of thing I'm thinking really is that after, once we know it's going to be shown, that we might just do one of our meetings about it. After it's shown, maybe the next meeting after it's shown, that we do a question and answer and just have someone from local media here in this group. I don't know.
What's
That's
the name of it again?
stripped for parts like you do with a car.
Yeah. And I was going to say, for those of us in Larimer County, Pooter has it definitely.
Yeah, I looked that up. So I'm just thinking that
Pooter School District?
No, Pooter
Oh,
Libraries.
Oh, they
library.
do?
Yeah, they have canopy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was gone now.
No, it's gone from Loveland.
Okay,
We're not part of Pooter.
okay.
Right.
Because
It has
It would be a
canopy.
whole different story.
Yeah.
I saw it at the Lyric Cinema here in Fort Collins. It was presented with through Indivisible. And they requested a $10 donation at the door or online when you signed up for tickets. And that was terrific. And I had a hard time imagining how you could show it anywhere but in a theater or a large auditorium with a big screen. And the theater was really a good capacity. And Phil Weiser came and spoke before it as well, I think. Yeah. So
And I
have a different presentation.
I have talked to the people at Colorado Sun. They're willing to send someone. All we need to do is just ask them, and they would arrange for someone to be available for us. And I said, we have no money for, any kind of and they're like, no, we want this out there, and they're real interested. So I've been talking to someone there, but it's just where we show it. And I agree with you, Linda, that it is so much better on a large screen. Yes, we'll be able to stream it through our TVs and PBS, but I don't think it's going to have quite the same impact.
Yeah, especially when you're sharing it with other people in person. It's pretty impactful.
Southwest
But you can't do
Colorado.
that across the whole state. Everybody doesn't have a theater.
Andrew?
In Southwest Colorado, the Pine River Library in Bayfield, which was about 4 or 5 years ago, elected the best small library in the country. We have had canopy in the past, so I'm not sure if we do right now, but I'll double check on that.
Well, maybe if any of you who could at least check wherever you go to your library, and the next time we meet, get an idea of that, and see what can be an option. I'm open to try to help.
Well, I was thinking maybe we could promote the PBS showing and then have this list of where, if you can't see that, then you go to these libraries and then have a discussion where one of the, but it would, I really think that to be fair to all the local leagues, we need to have the discussion by Zoom,
Yes.
a statewide discussion. So we're getting short on time for this topic, but should we bring this back?
Amy,
next time?
could you put in the chat how I could get in touch with you? Because I have a few more questions, Amy, just a phone number or whatever. So
Sure,
probably
I'll
easy.
throw in my email. It looks like they'll do the screening for free, but you'd have to have a location to do it in.
Right.
Right.
They told me it was like a $50. Yeah. But I said, I think we can, I know some people who donate, so that isn't the problem, the fee, as much as it is, we can't afford to do it every unit in the state, but we can afford to do it in some places, so.
Okay.
Thank you. And I will just kind of wait and see, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I
Okay.
put my email in the chat.
Okay.
Linda,
Yeah.
did I hear you say that
Actually-
it's going to be screened on PBS?
Yes, it is.
It's gonna be shown on PBS.
When?
We don't have the dates. That's what we're having trouble getting the dates. So because I can't get in touch with anyone at PBS.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's good for
Yeah.
America. Everybody needs to see this show.
So if we can promote that, so people can
Yeah.
at least watch it that way, they'd have that choice. They'd have a lot of alternatives, you know?
Right. I'll
Okay,
watch out for that. I'm a member.
I don't want to rush anybody through this. Are we done with this topic though?
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
All right.
I was gonna say, just a correction, I put in my work email address because I was talking about libraries, but as I'm here as a personal person, I
Yeah.
put in my personal email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so the next item is, I don't know if anybody is here to talk about the news literacy pilot project in Jeffco. I don't see
I don't
anybody.
think she's here.
Mm-mm.
I don't think very much about it. Sorry,
Pardon?
but I don't know very much about it. I haven't really, other than what we talked about in this meeting and a brief like, hey, we're working on this at our one of our board meetings. I haven't heard anything.
Okay, well,
I heard a little bit today.
Okay,
They're thinking of starting in January.
in January.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because, okay, I'll just tell you what I know. Rebecca Winning and Beverly George with the Jeffco League want to run a pilot project. It will be under News Access and Literacy Task Force, but it's a separate project. And it's going to be in person in Jefferson County the first year that they do this in January. And it'll be 4 or 5 sessions in partnership with their local library. And it'll be on mis and disinformation. And the name of the book is Marion. What's the name of the book?
I wrote it down
True or
somewhere.
false, right, okay, right.
True or
And
false, yeah.
It
that's what
is so good. It starts off not with the history of fake news, but historical situations where there was fake news. And I'm already up to World War II and Adolf Hitler. And it is really quite, I thought it was going to be really boring, and it's not. I find it very fascinating.
Yeah, I think she used to be in the CIA, the author, right? I think that's
Yes,
what I
she
read.
did, used to be.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the book they're using. And what our hope is that once they run through this pilot project, one session, the first 4 sessions, 1 year of this, that we could have a toolkit for all of our other local leagues to follow, to use this this project as a template. So, but they're not here. But anybody, the planning group, I think, and Marion, you're going to be in the planning group, the subgroup planning, and they're going to be by Zoom.
I hope so, but you just said we had to be in person in Jeffco next year, so I don't know if I can commit to going to
No,
Jeffco.
Yeah, well, I think what the idea was is if you want to be on the planning committee to plan
Yes.
the program, then you can, I think they're going to meet by Zoom because she wanted
Okay.
a lot of input, and then, but they're not here, so I don't know for sure, you guys. But
I'll get more info. I have their information.
Okay, so that's what I know. Does anybody else know anything? Sandy? or
I'm pretty
anybody?
sure she wants participation from anywhere it will come from.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, help. So, and I think it would be great if we can then share all the information with other local leagues and they can do this in their libraries. That's the idea. So. Okay, well, that was easy. Now, we want to talk about the collaboration on climate emergency and mis and disinformation. So, That's exactly what we're doing. The Climate Emergency Task Force and the News Access and Literacy Task Force is collaborating. I don't think we've really decided how many Zoom meetings this will be or presentations. But I was excited because I found a Professor Boykoff at the University of Colorado who teaches about climate change. He's in the environmental studies department and he teaches about climate change and how to talk about it and address mis and disinformation. So it sounds like he's a perfect guy if he's available. And he does seem interested. Just depending on his time, because we don't have the specifics we need, the date and whatever else we did. We haven't decided some things, I think. So we're still contacting.
From what I read about him, he's doing the research that we're talking about.
Right.
Who is this guy, Linda? Linda, what is his name?
Professor Boykoff at CU. Let me see if I can find his information. I'll put it in the chat. So Jane and
Boykoff, I think, out of CU
Right.
Boulder.
Okay. So, but Jane and Sandy, do you, because you guys are, and Kathy, you all are on have anything to add?
You're
Jane
doing
is
fine.
our leader.
Yeah.
We have a concept and we are pursuing resources, and it's kind of which comes first, the time or the loved one altogether, you know, that it's developing and progressing nicely, and Linda explained the concept of combining all of the mis and disinformation that is going on now, how to detect it, and the topic that we will be using is science. We're trying to narrow it down to wildfires, the misinformation about wildfires and the climate emergency, snowpack, and what was the third one?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Oil and gas? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so it's progressing nicely, and we'll probably start mid-October, mid to late October, if we can get it all together.
I think if we do that, we have to be on these speakers' calendars ASAP because they're going to fill up.
Yeah.
So here's a couple, just if you're interested, there's a page with videos of Professor Boykoff speaking, and then he writes an opinion page, our opinion column for the Boulder Daily Camera. So
About the cancellation of the Clean Air Act.
yeah, the latest one was about that, but he's got a whole page of them. They must offer him a opinion piece constantly. I mean, he's got a running agreement, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that may be his curriculum, you know, and what he teaches. They
very well be. I think he's the department head there, or if he isn't
He
now.
is, yeah, I think I read that too.
Yeah.
Just recently became department head.
Right. Because he left running a center in this same topic area and became the department head. So
He was doing a lot of research.
yes, you have to.
I think we stumbled upon this concept by recognizing a need and a natural combination and overlapping of news access and literacy and the climate emergency. This is complementary to what we are doing, what is happening at the state level with what they are doing. So it's not meant to replace what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of folded under that.
Yeah, that was nice to hear Katina, because I think she clarified that we are not stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah.
With what we're doing.
So the climate change and mis and disinformation group, we've been meeting. When's the next meeting?
The 28th of August, I think, if that's a Thursday. At 1:30 Zoom. We'd love to have your insights. And
And if you want the Zoom link, you can send me an email and I'll. I don't even know my own email address. There. And
We don't have
I'll-
it yet, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. Right. Jane would know.
no.
Okay, so I've been pushing everybody through this meeting, but we have 9 more minutes. You want to talk about anything else? You saw, like Diana said today, Nexstar is purchasing Tegna, I think is what it's called, and that's gonna affect. And what I read was
NBC, Channel
ABC.
9,
Channel 9,
Channel 9, yeah.
yeah, or in whatever.
Somebody I spoke to today thought that Kyle Clark would be gone.
Yeah.
Well-
It's interesting because last week Kyle Clark talked about how good Tegna was to work with.
Yeah.
And then Corey Hutchins had something in his newsletter about there were rumors that this was going to happen.
Who is the group? Because I just read in here, the initiative is being perused by Trump's administration. I'm just reading a quote on the article that was sent, and I didn't know who is being perused. Is this, they think it's a good idea or a bad idea or what?
Wasn't the people who are buying it
Uh-huh.
affiliated in some way with Fox?
It's Fox.
Yes.
That's what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe John Oliver did something on them a while back about this company and the fact that they have bought up lots of things. And it doesn't necessarily mean it will come down to a local level. I mean, these are big corporations. And if 9 News is making a profit, which I suspect they are with Kyle Clark being there, that there could be absolutely no change.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Ask Stephen Colbert.
that's a little different than a local.
Yeah, but he was still making a lot of money for them.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's a whole different thing. That is,
Well, I guess
mean,
we'll
that's
see.
at a corporate level. I mean, that's what I'm saying is, Stephen Colbert is a high-profile national celebrity at a high-level job in the corporation, as opposed to having worked for corporations. You can be at a local level, and they don't even, as long as you put up the numbers, that's all they're concerned about.
Unfortunately, I don't think they're the ones watching.
Yeah, because it's a FCC again.
Yeah, it's the FCC's going to watch this, and they're going to say,
and
if
Stephen
you want us to
Colbert,
approve it, this is how much money you're going to give us, or how much of your profits or something these days.
Or these are the people you're firing whose message I don't like, or you don't get your FCC merger agreement
But
license.
Like I said, I don't think Kyle Clark has that higher profile outside of Colorado.
We'll see.
Did somebody say he was leaving though?
No.
Okay, good.
Not yet.
Not willingly.
Not willingly.
But I have to say something about what Amy said. I kind of agree that it really is all about the profits more
Right.
than anything else. And I mean, and just last week, I mean, probably none of you watched South Park, but having watched
did
that,
now.
yeah, and watching that, and they just gave so many $1 billion, Paramount did, to South Park. They're not about to turn South Park off because it's making billions for them. And so I
Yeah,
think,
well,
as Amy's saying, it's about
I don't-
the money, a lot of it is. And so I think that, if it's capitalism at its best. If it's working, we'll keep it. And so if Kyle Clark's bringing in money, we'll keep him. If he isn't,
It is amazing. He says so much.
Mhm.
And I don't even hear it all, but
So much
what I do
truth.
hear, I'm just amazed that he kind of gets away with that.
Yeah,
me
everyone
Glad.
comments on that.
Hey,
Mhm.
what you're talking about though is South Park is national,
Mhm. That's right. Mhm.
where Kyle Clark is not.
Mhm.
He's local.
Yeah, that's true. And whether they'll even care with the local part.
Okay, we did really good today, you guys. So the next meeting is gonna be on September of this task force is gonna be September 16th, okay? So,
Hey.
I think we're gonna probably talk about exactly what we talked about today. If you need an idea of whether you want to come or not. So everybody come, because I need people to remind me what we said this time. Of course, Marion's taking excellent notes.
You don't know that yet. When I see you in a little bit, I have questions.
Okay, okay. All right, okay, so I'll save the chat. So, says
What?
save chat, okay. All right, thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye.